Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jennifer. I wanted to do a video to update everybody about the diagnosis I had received for suspected COVID-19 because of this rash I developed on my face, my arms, my hands, my fingers, and I did get tested, and so I want to talk about that. But before I go much further, I do want to take a second. I just want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for the kind and supportive comments you left for me. For those that left your personal stories and your struggles with COVID, my heart just goes out to you. Many prayers for a very, very quick recovery. This has just been so devastating to our population and so devastating to so many of you, and I'm just so sorry, and I just hope you guys are feeling better very, very, very soon. I had my first symptom on April 24th. It escalated. My first symptom was the actual rash. Several days later, I started to develop like a tightness, kind of a thickness in my throat. It led to a cough and just kind of a general feeling of unwellness. I went and got assessed for COVID-19. I was initially diagnosed with suspected COVID-19, but they actually denied me the test because it was being reserved for first responders and medical, frontline medical. And so I didn't get that test the first day. My whole family quarantined straight away, but the second day my husband was actually notified by his work that he needed to get paperwork filled out for the quarantine because he is a first responder. And so we actually went back. My symptoms had actually worsened that evening, and so my cough had gotten a lot worse. I was basically not sleeping that night at all because the cough got pretty severe. So the next day we went back and got assessed once again, and once again was given the diagnosis of suspected COVID-19, as well as on the first day I was also diagnosed with viral exanthem, which basically means diagnosed with a viral rash. And so I was tested that second day. If you watch my last video, you'll get like a really more detail about that whole process. And then, we went home, still stayed on quarantine. Now to back up, I live in California. And so we were one of the first states to kind of institute these shelter-in-place orders. And we did start with the mandatory mask wearing at my work pretty early on, and so I've been already wearing a mask. So weeks prior to me having that first sign of the rash, I had been wearing the mask in public, social distancing, only doing essential shopping, so like grocery store, hardware store, and work. Those were the three places that I was going because I am an essential worker, so I was still working. So my exposure was pretty low in the community. Thank goodness. But so I ended up, symptoms kind of continued with the cough, a little tightness in my upper chest, and this rash. The rash, the major characteristic about this rash that was different from any other rash I had had, because I initially thought maybe it was poison oak or maybe it was an allergic reaction to something, is this rash burned really, really badly, almost like kind of like the worst sunburn that you can possibly imagine. I've had some really bad sunburns, and so this reminded me of the very worst sunburn where it's a little bit kind of all consuming. What I used is this sunburn relief cream that has aloe vera, and it actually has got lidocaine, in there. And so it actually kind of helped numb the pain because that's how great of discomfort it was. The rash on my arm burned, but not quite as bad. The rash on my hand was very painful. I haven't been able to wear my rings. This is my second day wearing my rings. Couldn't wear them for the first 13 days because I don't know if I mentioned that today is day 14 of this rash. So, but the difference on my hands is that it was blisters. It was pinpoint blisters that kind of went in clusters. You can kind of see the remnants, and it was all up in my fingers, like halfway up my fingers, in between my fingers. Very uncomfortable. I know a lot of you guys that are posted have much, much, much worse rashes, and so the rash, it sounds like this is definitely could be a component of COVID-19 for a lot more people than we were realizing, initially. But I did get my test results. Like I said, I was tested on the second time. I did get my test results, and they did come back negative. Now, at first I was really relieved and happy to hear that, but then I did have a consultation with the doctor, and what he said is that he can actually not guarantee that this was not a COVID-19 infection because of not only the symptoms it totally fit the characteristics, as well as the fact that I guess there could be false negatives. And so he said that, in his words, that this was definitely possible that this was COVID-19 related. And so that's kind of where I'm at. It's a completely clear as mud. I don't know if this rash was or wasn't, if it was a different virus. He didn't identify any other options. But he did say that this definitely could be COVID-19, even though and in his remarks, even though I tested negative, this absolutely, or as his word, definitely could be COVID-19 related. So that's kind of where I'm at. It's not a ton of help. What I feel confident is that I don't have it going forward because I followed the CDC guidelines. I haven't gone out. I've kept myself quarantined. I feel comfortable maybe now to go ahead and venture out. And if I do have any further symptoms with the rash or any sort of virus symptoms, or in the future, if I do get the antibody testing, which I definitely want to get, I will definitely be posting more about it. My usual content is about my weight loss journey, actually. For the past 3 years, I've been posting, over 3 years now, I suppose. I've lost almost 100 pounds, and that is what my channel is usually about. That's why it's called Shrinking Jen, because I actually used to be 261 pounds, but and now I weigh 165. But that's what I usually post about, and so this is not my usual content. Like I said, if there's any follow-up on this, I will definitely post about it. So I'll let you guys go. I hope you guys are doing well. Again, to all those that are suffering and are going through this, my heart just goes out to you. Many, many, many prayers for a quick recovery, and I will see you guys later. Bye.